Episode of the Not Your Heroes podcast. We are live. You may notice that, unlike usual today, we do not have pictures or we have my avatar in the corner, not Jax's. We are some channel updates we're going to do. The podcast at the minute is a bit irregular. We've noticed it's very irregular. We usually do it every 2 weeks. We're due to stuff in life. It's going to be quite a little bit, possibly a bit irregular over the next few months. You may have seen that this month you got an Alien episode on the first week of the month, on the Monday. That is basically now going to be a monthly series until it's finished, because we haven't got the time to do 2 episodes a month as we were originally planned. So we've gone that down to a month. The project we've got planned for Wednesdays is still in progress, and that being made. We are actually looking to a new avatar for the channel. For myself. Jax doesn't bother wanting one, so we are going to have a new avatar for the channel soon. It might not be straight away. It may take a couple of weeks to get sorted out, as I'm working with an artist to design it. But yeah, that's my updates for myself. Do you have any updates, Jax, that you wish to provide for yourself?
No, I'm still alive.
Yeah, sadly.
Good to know I've been wanted.
Yeah, no, it's good to know you're valued, isn't it, Jax? But yeah.
I feel seen. But we have had a lot of stuff going on in the world of wonderful geekness of late.
Yeah, we've got lots of stuff going on.
We have tons to talk about.
Well, we do.
As usual, I am looking after the messages.
Yeah, Jack's looking after messages. If you say a message, Jack will either respond to it or let me know to respond to you in regards to its questions to myself. But yeah, we are live today. We're going to be having a bit more of a fun day, as you can appreciate. This is what we're doing. It's just one of those lovely things. We aren't going to go about our usual talking about anything in really depth today, mostly because this is mostly a channel update. This is a shorter podcast day than our usual 2-hour podcast that we do. We're going to do a bit of a shorter episode just because we're focusing on something. That's why there's a game in the background that I haven't even started, as you can see. It's just there to pass the time, in all honesty. But yeah, if you have and you may have noticed now that the channel has some stuff you can spend bits on soon. If you look on this bottom, you can now spend them on sound effects. And little sound effects as well, and some power-ups and stuff. You get little bits for
and we're also, as I've just been informed, it's our 6-month anniversary on Twitch.
Oh, it's our 6-month anniversary on Twitch. Oh dear God, I didn't even realise that.
Yeah, I've just had a little message come up in the chat box.
Oh wow. Yeah. And hi, Pixel. And yeah, if you have any questions to ask, as I say, main thing is with the channel is that we're going to go for the Aliens Dark. Oh yeah, you've been a moderator for 6 months, yeah, Jax.
And difference.
But yeah, we also now the channel now has the ability to be subscribed to, so you can subscribe to the channel now and use Twitch subs and that. We have got that permission now with the channel, which is actually a big step forward. I didn't even know we had that until this week. We will be still streaming on a Sunday. We're still gonna do the podcast on a Thursday every other week. Alien Dark Descent is going to a monthly at the moment for the time being, while we finish it for now, because it's a bit harder to film episodes it's a bit hard to get it out every 2 weeks as the original plan was. But if you subscribe to the Patreon, what we will be doing is you will have access to the next episode, usually a month ahead or 2 months ahead, depending on how many we've gotten done. My Wednesday project is underway. I have thought of what to do for it. I'm going to start recording some stuff for that myself shortly. But yeah, in general channel updates a minute, we are looking into a new avatar for myself. channel logo and that won't change. We're keeping the Not Your Hero. The Not Your Heroes is the name of the channel, but I will be changing my avatar to be a bit more of an interactive one. That will be a bit more lively, to say. And well, that's mostly the stuff with topic 1 of our today. It's just, but yeah, general chat is we're talking about stuff that, like, at the minute there's a lot of stuff happening.
Lots of cogs moving, lots of parts to be put in place.
Yeah, you can't see the message history in Twitch and YouTube channels, so that's because that's what they're not supposed to be. Like, you can't see the message history. There isn't a message history in Twitch and YouTube. They don't display the messages from Twitch. I don't know what you mean. They just tell you what's currently streaming now. They're just up to date.
Oh, I know in the past on some of the Twitch videos we have had the previous week's messages still on there, but I think that comes down to the fact that, you know, we haven't technically marked it as a new week's feed. It's just been still running on from the previous week. So, yeah, sometimes we will, sometimes we won't, depending on what we've done on our end.
Oh no, I found out what it was. For some weird reason, the channel on the Discord was not displaying the read message history. For some weird reason, it turned off for some reason. No idea why. It's been on forever, and then it must have been when I was removing permissions off certain things. It must have messed up. That should now be fixed, basically. That should now be fixed, but it is a issue of, yeah, the read message history was for some reason turned off. It's on for some reason on everything, but it was not synced. Weird.
Oh, as long as it's working for whatever you need.
Oh yeah. But yeah, in regards to it, it should now be fixed again. It was just being silly. But yeah, that's that. Oh, that reminds me. I am sorting out so that the chat will appear on the stream as well. I'm in the middle of reorganizing that so that you can, while streaming on a Sunday, you will be able to see the chat on the screen in the bottom left corner. Yeah, that should be fixed now in regards to it. This channel had messed up for some reason. It must be when I was editing other stuff. But yeah, those who are in the Discord will know we've been having issues with bots. I have now switched the Discord to approval only. So if you wish to join our Discord, you'll have to answer a bunch of questions. And I will approve. If you don't answer the questions, you don't get to join. I will possibly have the moderators have to advise my moderators that they'll need to do that in regards to it on the Discord itself. They may have to help out if it gets too many. Other stuff is Showcase continues on a Friday every week. We're going to continue the trend of that. We've got some good games coming up that I believe that both me and you, Jax, enjoyed quite a bit.
Yes, we've had quite a few lucky ones on our little Showcase, so there's a few that really do need a bit more of a longer look.
Oh yes, they definitely do. No. Why are you not? Are you now synced? Yeah, okay, so it was not synced for some weird ass reason. Why did you unsync when I fixed it? But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, in that regards. So, in regards to other stuff we normally talk about is so we've had Master Universe came out this month.
Fantastic film.
Was really
everything
good.
I wanted from a Master of the Universe film, to be honest. I was very much skeptical of Jared Leto being in it. I'm not always a major fan, but he did Skeletor so well. and
Oh
in a
yeah.
way that is kind of needed for a Masters of the Universe film. It shouldn't be po-faced. It shouldn't be um, completely super serious, and how a lot of villains are portrayed in a lot of these films of like uh, there is a jokey element needs to be there, a little bit of a pompous element, an almost hammy Shakespearean element, kind of like the original
Oh yeah.
Master of the Universe film was.
Those
Because
are
the best
certainly
part of that
it's
was
without.
Skeletor.
Oh yeah, best parts were Skeletor in that film. It was genuinely just so good. Um, the Skeletor was generally really good. Those films. I've watched the Backrooms movie. Was really, you and I have different opinions. You didn't like it that much. I genuinely do. We will discuss these topics more in depth in the next podcast we do. We're only going over anything at the minute because there's a lot coming out in June, and there's a lot of films that we want to see and a lot of shows that we've seen that we've not got that much time at the minute to go over them all.
Yeah.
At
I
the
will
minute,
say it's not that I didn't enjoy the Backrooms film at all. I did enjoy it. It's just that I'm quite a big fan of the original stuff on YouTube, and I felt it was a little bit jarring in the way certain things were done. But I mean, and yes, it's my least favourite A24 film, but that's like saying it was my least favourite slice of pizza. Um, you know, I still
and I
very
mean,
much enjoyed it.
no one hates pizza. Pizza is like universally the
Exactly,
best food.
definitely not me.
Even day old cold pizza is universally the food that gets people together.
Yeah, you can ask my wife. I definitely enjoy pizza.
Yeah, no, I've heard the story. We've had the Jack's anecdote story. I think it was episode 7 of this show, where you had the anecdote about you and the pizza and how many pizzas you ate in a day or something.
Yeah, but
Tell everyone if you want.
there's a place near us in Indiana called Cece's. Shout out to Cece's, and they do
Sponsor us, and
all you can eat
we'll
pizza.
shout you out every week.
Yeah, they do all you can eat pizza, and everyone was a mix between impressed and embarrassed of the number of actual pizzas I ate.
Yeah. And Jax is not a fat man. Jax is not.
I am at the minute, juice.
But yeah, we've got
The time I wasn't.
the Daredevil series. We've both enjoyed it a lot. Absolutely, we know what we both have discussed it a little bit in detail. We've not discussed the finale episodes fully or the full season, gone and doing a retrospective of it yet. We haven't done that yet. We will do that when we get time. We're going to do a whole episode on that, going through every episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to rewatch it. You've watched Mandalorian and Grogu now. I haven't. I don't have a desire to watch it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
As I said, for me, for Star Wars at the minute, my entire relationship with Star Wars right now is I can't be arsed. I tried to watch Skeleton Crew, and as good as it is, and I was getting into it, I just was like, I'm kind of bored of Star Wars, and I don't want to watch it. And that's my issue.
Yeah, I get that. Skeleton Crew though is particularly, I particularly really like that. It did something so different with the franchise
Well, it's like Andor.
that
I
I
like
was.
Andor because after watching Andor finally and finishing, like, just the first season. I've not watched the second season yet. I haven't got round to it
Yeah.
because of my current Star Wars fatigue. But like with Andor, I did not expect to like Andor because it's a series where there is no Jedi's in it. It's like a bit like Skeleton Crew. There's not. I know Skeleton Crew has no Jedi because I've not watched it, but it's that whole way. It's the rebellion. It's the whole beginning of the rebellion sort of like show. Like, I don't much care for the character Andor because I'm not really that much bothered by him. We already know where he's going to go. The end of the second season is basically the beginning of Rogue One. You know what I mean? That's where it leads to, basically, the end of the second season. But it is that whole thing of it's that subtlety, and it's showing how the Empire took power and just how, like, and it's seeing that side of the Empire that we don't normally see, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that made me like it so much, because it's not showing the usual laser swords and stormtroopers in full armor, like stormtroopers everywhere and everything. It's no. You're seeing how the day-to-day life of someone living in the Empire is, and it's good. The Acolyte, for me, I don't know what it is. That first 2 episodes, I really liked. You know, especially seeing the whole fight, kung fu fight in a Star Wars film, in a Star Wars show. You know, not using a lightsaber, just a
And
proper
then it lost its way so rapidly.
and then it just kind of was like,
It was
okay,
so sad.
yeah, and it's just like, whatever, don't care anymore. I just, um, but like, that's the issue with
The
it.
upsetting bit for me about that season, I will say, is that the start of it, I really noticed it not being that good was when you were getting promised this big fight between a Wookiee and the bad guy. It's like, yeah, I'm really, really going to get into this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next scene, it's just, oh, he's dead.
Yeah, it's also
And it's like, well,
I agree. I don't agree with a lot of people's comments. Go, why were the Jedi's taken out so easily? And I'm sat there going, it's because at this point in history, this is the Jedi who haven't had to fight anyone. They're not fighters at this
no,
point. This is the point where the Jedi have been what they've said they have always been, what they've been, peacekeepers. They've not
kind of
really had to
monks.
fight anyone. They're monks and peacekeepers. They're not fighters at this point in history. This is the point where
Yeah.
the Sith basically don't exist. The bad guys don't exist to them. They're basically, invisible.
Well, yeah, the Sith are something in fairy tale more than anything else. They've become kind of like if you watch the beginning of episode 1, where they're ambassadors.
Yeah. The end of episode 1, where at the end of episode 1, where they don't, not the end, where it's like, it was a Sith look, where not end of episode 1, where, after Maul's first attack in it, it's like, no, Sith, where they're all basically dismissing Qui-Gon going on about the Sith. At that entire bit, where they're dismissing him for it, because there's not been the Sith for centuries. They all died out. That's the whole thing. But yeah, But I will say the thing I was more looking towards that was I didn't really want to. I wanted to see what the architecture and stuff was like in the High Republic, because it's supposed to be the height of the Republic, where they made all their technological advancements. And as we've seen in like Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, where we go through these High Republic era ruins, they're significantly more advanced than the Star Wars era ruins of now, the Star Wars of the Old Republic and stuff. So I was like, really
Also, we had a great video game which was all based about the Old Republic that had such great lore to it, and it didn't. None of that translated over.
Well, it's also the Old Republic is before the High Republic. It goes the Old Republic, then the High Republic, and then the Republic, the Republic, the fall of the Republic, and then the rise of the Galactic Empire. It's really weird because the High Republic is in between KOTOR and, if I remember correctly, it's in between KOTOR and the Old Republic era and the New Republic era, and the Republic era. But it's like. And then it's like we've got the Punisher special, which we both agree on one thing. That was as violent as it needed to be. The Punisher is awesome, and John Bernthal is, in my opinion, I don't know if you'll agree with me, is the best actor we've had play the Punisher.
Oh, well, yeah, 100%. Yeah, no one has played the Punisher like this.
No,
Not
he's
properly.
got that character down. He is like,
yeah.
He's like Ryan Reynolds, John Bernthal. Jason Momoa. They are actors that basically are playing characters that
they've all found their character.
I'm going to go on. I'm going to also add one more. John Cena, because I actually think him being his Peacemaker is genuinely was amazing casting, and it let that man show that he actually can act. No offense, no offense to Dave Bautista, he's a good actor, but he kind of has like one kind of role, one kind of character he can play a lot of the time. The same with, unfortunately, The Rock. If you know what I mean. Like, they have that one style that they play really well, and any other style they don't genuinely play that well, if that makes sense. Whereas John Cena has shown that he can do comedy roles in the Lottery Winner. The Lottery Winner with I forget her name, from Awkwafina from Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Where he plays her bodyguard in that. And in Peacemaker, Shunny could do proper serious emotional roles. And so yeah, he's really good at. He's got a good range, but like unfortunately, I don't find that with a lot of the other wrestlers who've become actors. They kind of play kind of the same character and everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, John Cena. I completely agree. John Cena has put all
You've gone into a robot, Jax.
the and serious. Sorry, I'm sorry. John Cena has put all of the dedication and seriousness that you have to put into building your body up to be a wrestler into his acting.
Yeah.
And that shows. He's taken everything seriously. And yeah, I mean, I love Peacemaker. The first season I thought was a great season. How they managed to change it up with the change in direction, with James Gunn being fully in charge, I thought was awesome. And I mean, we're so far on now, everyone knows, but the introduction to Earth X in Peacemaker season 2 was perfect, because we kind of all knew there was something wrong, and yes, there was people speculating online, oh, you know, this is going to be Earth X or one of the bad Earths, maybe the Injustice Earth. Actually, when the big reveal comes along, and Harcourt's like, you didn't notice through all the pictures and the flags, and then you look and go, actually, no, I didn't notice.
Yeah, because
it's
the way
notice.
the camera was. It's subtly the whole way through. It is going. He's not. He's deliberately if you go back and watch those scenes, every single scene, subtly the camera is putting away from any of them.
But all of the clues are there.
Yeah, it's like they're there. They're just not in they're not in your peripheral vision, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's a well done reveal. It's a well done reveal. It's so funny because it's like, oh, this is your perfect world, is it? Nazi world. What? Oh no.
The only thing I would have said there, and I know it couldn't have been done because of licensing and even just getting characters involved, and one or two of the actors that are in the series, due to some portrayal of them in things, are not quite happy with Gunn. I would have liked the actual Earth X universe to have been the Earth X universe from CW series.
Well, one thing I will say is that both, having seen it at con, both Grant and Tom, basically the court's in your, the ball's in your court, James. Give us a role. We want to come back. And I'm like, I fully support this, because let's be honest.
I mean, I personally am on the line of, I would love Anthony Starr to be Ichabod Fall. The guy who plays Homelander in Boys. I think he would play a great Reverse Flash.
Oh yeah. I think they would do really well, but I will say, I think for me, I would love Grant Gustin to be cast as the Flash in like the films, because it is a less stressful role for him, because he doesn't have, he's not going to be having to film like a new season every year, and genuinely, I loved him as the Flash. Like,
I did. And the thing is, here's the thing. I would love to see him come in as part of the Flash family. I don't think he should be the Flash for Gunn's universe. I really think they need to find someone else. But to have him come in as either Max Mercury or even as
do him as Jay. Have him as the Jay Garrick.
Or even as Jay Garrick. Him coming in as the original Flash would be, and I did finger quotes for that. Would be fantastic and a nice little nod.
Mm-hmm. It would also have the torch carried on, because remember who played Jay Garrick in having a Barry Allen has to die in the Crisis during the CW bit was the Barry Allen from the original series.
Yeah, but we also had, like, let's say, I mean, Wesley John Shipp played Jay Garrick, who was originally the Barry Allen Flash in his TV series. Having Grant Gustin come in to play the Jay Garrick of the Gunn universe would be a nice follow-on from that sort of
Oh yeah.
a tradition. Wesley, John Wesley Shipp to come in and actually be Max Mercury, which is technically the first of the speedsters, and was shown in that big memorial in Superman. So I know these are all just fan castings, but I think that would be a nice little nod. You wouldn't have to have them in for much. It's just cameos. It'd be fun.
Yeah, it's just like we're having a speedster introduced and then having the speedster, because I would. Plus, I'm going to be honest. Can we have an actual proper Savitar if we get a Flash? Because honestly, I hate the whole. We can't even call him Savitar. From
the CW one of the dude in the robot suit. Well, Barry Allen in the robot suit.
No. That Savitar was good. That one about the Savitar we got in the Flash movie. That was essentially Savitar, but not Savitar. Because we can't call him Savitar, but it is clearly Savitar. And that's what annoys me.
It was this horrible mix between Savitar and Dark Black.
Yeah. And it was just so bad. And I know I'm ragging on that film a lot, but in my own opinion, it deserves it. The film was just...
Yeah, I mean, that was such a waste of so much good potential is my main issue. I mean, I'm not a fan of the actor at all.
No, I don't think anyone's a fan of the actor, and unfortunately, but because of the actor is a...
Ezra Miller's physically toxic, and he's not the best actor in the world. But then to find out that after they made effort in the TV series to have him in Crisis as this weird link, the whole reason he knows he's the Flash, he gets called the Flash in the films and stuff, is because he meets Grant Gustin's Flash.
Yep.
Then when you had all those universes opening up and they spent so much money on CGI and AI to get Christopher Reeves and
Nicolas Cage's
Nicolas Cage's Superman. Mm-hmm. Actually having a small section there showing the CW universe.
Yeah, the post
wouldn't have done much. It would have been so good.
Just even if it was just like a random scene from from one of the episodes.
Wouldn't have that scene repeated, but from the view of Ezra Miller's Flash running into that situation, or trying to vibrate through and then getting there, and then just replaying that scene again.
Yeah,
would have been nice.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things. It's genuinely, in my opinion, one of the
Just like I say, wasted opportunities the whole way through.
Oh yeah, trust me. And then having George Clooney, Michael Keaton both show up, and in different points, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool. We get Michael Keaton's Batman back, and then that made me happy because I grew up on the Michael Keaton Batman films. Yes. Those are the ones I first watched. So getting to see Michael Keaton back as Batman was really nice. And seeing him back as very obviously that era Batman, just with modern Batman, tech, rather than the Snyder Batman of Batfleck. Which Batfleck, by the way, was the best thing of Batman v Superman, and I will not, and that's my opinion. And
I've got so many issues with the Snyderverse. I don't have an issue with Ben Affleck. He wasn't my favourite Batman. He's not my favourite Bruce Wayne, but by far he was one of the greater castings that they had.
Yeah.
And yeah, wasted potential. Really, they treated him so badly. It is unfortunate we never actually got his Batman
film. Workouts and everything to get into shape to play the character because he genuinely wanted to portray him properly.
And the fact is, Ben Affleck is a really good director. So having him, and he knows his comic book hero. People slag off his Daredevil, maybe rightly so for a lot of reasons. But this is a guy.
Tyler Perry was really good as the Kingpin. Is it Tyler Perry that plays Kingpin?
Yeah. No. It's
I forget his name. I don't.
Michael Duncan Clark,
The guy that plays I forget the character's name in
the prisoner in Green Mile.
yeah, the prisoner in Green Mile.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah.
But
He once again a great actor. Really kind of, especially after. So me and my wife watched the Daredevil film after watching all of the Daredevil TV series because she wanted to see it, and I gave as many warnings about it as possible. But like she said, if she had watched that film separately on its own without Charlie Cox's Daredevil, wouldn't have liked it or understood half of it. But because of such good groundwork from the Daredevil TV series, she knew who those characters were. She knew who their relationships were going to turn out to be one way or another.
Oh yeah.
And yes, they're not accurate in many ways. They portrayed who they were in a very interesting way.
And for me, I don't have an issue if they're not portrayed the same way as they are one for one in the comics, as you know why? Because I don't complain about Ultron in the MCU, despite the fact that as someone who prefers the actual origin of Ultron in the comics over the the origin in the MCU of him being Hank Pym's creation, because the whole reason Ultron technically is insane is because he's a copy of Hank Pym's mind, which unfortunately means that Ultron has Hank Pym's bipolar disorder. That's why he has such manic mood
and his insecurities. Yes, yeah. As well as here's another bit that people forget. Yeah, but the other thing people forget in that as well is that one of the things that they used to create both Ultron and what later would be Vision is that Wonder Man's essence was used to help create those things. So you have the whole issues of Wonder Man's problems being involved in there as well. And Hank Pym and Wonder Man are not the most stable people all the time.
No. I still need to watch the Wonder Man show. I haven't got round to it.
It's interesting. I will say the Ben Kingsley in it is by far my favourite bit.
To be fair, Ben Kingsley is just fucking awesome, especially ever since they did the whole Travis Slattery, revealing the Mandarin of Ben Kingsley being not the Mandarin in the Iron Man film. I'm like, everyone complained. I'm like, no, I actually like this twist because it gives them the opportunity to bring the real Mandarin in later, which they did, and have him be. Why would he suddenly be announcing himself to the world? It's like,
there's a lot of stuff in there, especially within Shang-Chi and in the Wonder Man TV series, which I like the original character of the Mandarin. He doesn't get used anymore for many, many different reasons. But I like the bit in Shang-Chi.
You've got a robot again, by the way.
Sorry.
I think it's because you keep
speaking. The bit in Shang-Chi. In the bit in Shang-Chi where he says, "Why did they name me after an orange?" And the other part was in Wonder Man where it's like, "Well, I did find it kind of racially unaware," which I thought was great. Kind of, I get it. But one thing that they never really focused on, which is a shame, because he should have been in. He should have, if they'd imported him properly into the Iron Man mythos in the film, it would have been done really well, because the great counterpart to each other in the books and even in the animated series from the 90s is that Iron Man is technological, Mandarin is magical, and the two are literally mirror images of each other in that aspect.
Oh yeah.
And that's why they make great hero and villains against each other, protagonist and antagonist.
Oh no.
One's about future, the other one's about using the past.
They're good characters together. They're good villains and heroes to go off.
Yes.
The thing with we've got later this month we've got Supergirl, We're both going to end up seeing that. You probably before me because
I've got my. I've already bought my ticket for opening night.
yeah. So that you're going to see it opening night, whereas I'm going to go see it probably at the end of the month because I don't because that's when I get paid to go see it. But yeah, that's film we're both going to go see because let's be honest, I think we could both agree it looks really fun.
It looked pretty fun. I've been a massive fan of what Gunn is doing with the DC universe. I absolutely loved Superman. I went to see that. I saw that at the cinema 3 times in the end. No, 4 times in the end, as well as now owning it.
Well, it's like as I said, we own it as well on DVD, and it's like I said, the rarest thing happened. I preferred the DC film over the Marvel film that year because I don't watch DC that much. DC, as I have said multiple times in this podcast, my only character I can DC are, yes, I'm a bit boring. It's Batman because I grew up watching Batman the animated series, and the Flash. They're the only 2 characters I generally like, and the Flash is a more recent development from watching, ironically, the CW show of the Flash. And Grant Gustin's portrayal of that character made me go, I really like this character. And
he played him very well. My favourite DC character by far.
And for me, I grew up on the X-Men, and Spider-Man as my primary comics and stuff that I read, and the primary shows I watched were the old 96 cartoon for X-Men and the old Spider-Man 97 cartoon as well, and stuff.
Yep.
And those stuff, which is where and Transformers and Totally Spies and stuff like that. It's like they're the stuff I grew up watching. So for me, my formative years are all. Excuse me. My formative years were all with Marvel. It's always been Marvel, like Fantastic Four, X-Men, the Hulk, the Avengers. Which is why when they first announced the Incredible Hulk movie, I immediately went to watch it. The one character I'll always remember that I don't know how I forgot he was a Marvel character, by the way, because he was in Spider-Man the animated series. You know, in the episodes I owned physically on video at the time, right? Is Blade. I forgot he was a Marvel character for the longest time. Despite the fact that at the beginning of the Blade movies, it has, in the things that goes about, what studios made the film, the Marvel logo at the time was in there. The old one.
Yeah.
Was on there. And I'm like, I always forget that he was a Marvel character because Blade predates, the modern Marvel universe, like technically predates it because he originally wasn't, linked to it. But now he is. He's basically...
modern movie Marvel universe really did, as much as everyone likes to think it was the Spider-Man and the X-Men that made them popular. The first big blockbuster, or the first big profitable movies were the Blade franchise.
Oh yeah.
Which does 2 things really kind of funnily, in all honesty. One, this was at a time when the Marvel movies were awful. There were a few out. At that point in time,
I have seen the old
Punisher film
where he pulls a gun on someone and steals his van.
At that point you had a Captain America movie, you had a Punisher movie, you had a few decades before you had a Doctor Strange film, you had the cancelled, but you can still see it now. It's on streaming. Fantastic Four film. You had
the most big feature length stuff we got at that point was animated films like Hulk versus Wolverine, and
even then you had the final one in the coffin for me to show how bad that era was Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. with David Hasselhoff. And it's only 3 years later you get Blade.
Yeah.
And that knocked it out of the park. Everyone went to see it. And so, that's point one. But point two, which I find ironic, is that then many years later, when they're talking about making the Black Panther film, the guy in charge of the Marvel at the time before they split it between the comic books and the movie TV franchise, went around and said no one wants a black superhero.
Mm-hmm.
And you think the thing that started off Marvel being popular on film was a black superhero.
Yeah. And then the next films that kind of followed it was the Hulk. Is it the Hulk or the Incredible Hulk that came out first? I can't remember. Went out the two.
So it was the Hulk came out, then Incredible Hulk. So yeah, the Eric Banner, then the
Bruce Banner one.
no, the actor who played Bruce Banner was Eric Banner, an Australian.
I still find that hilarious. Yeah. That's
and then the next one that came out was I can never remember his name, but it's from Edward Norton from American History X. But so that film was Universal, but it was part of the next film because that was it. I mean,
yeah.
Like this is a while on. You had 3 films coming out.
Oh, yeah,
because Spider-Man had been popular, X-Men had been popular,
yeah.
And the only thing that Marvel had in their license tin was the stuff that the 2 characters that no one wanted to buy back in the day, which was Captain America and Iron Man.
Yep.
And they had a deal going with Universal that had the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, it's and Thor. Remember, and Thor, 3 characters that no one wanted to buy because people always forget that Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, prior to those films coming out, and the Hulk didn't exactly sell that well outside of comics where they were in a team up.
Yes, well, I mean, the Hulk was a whole different beast. There was a lot of popularity around the character in comic books. That's why the character did sell.
He sold Universal. Well his own, but not as well as like the X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four.
No.
None of those characters were anywhere near as popular as those 3. They are the big 3. They are still, I think, the big 3 at Marvel because those 3, and it doesn't like no matter what happens, those 3 are the big 3 kind of comics that Marvel's always sells because Fantastic Four it's a really wholesome family vibe, technical family vibe comic of like it's a family working together, to be heroes. The X-Men is found family. A lot of people associate with it because it's a lot of people that are more marginalized communities and more that associate with the X-Men because the way what it's always portrayed is these people that for no fault of their own, that it's not their fault that they've got these powers and they're being persecuted by people for it.
Yeah.
And it's always one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, the X-Men are one of those universes that have just been genuinely really well done. But what I was saying, getting to the point is that and Spider-Man's always been that hero that everyone just loves because
Spider-Man is the golden goose.
Relatable hero. He's very relatable.
Yeah, Spider-Man has always been their golden goose. Yes, X-Men at some point it would get beaten up by X-Men comics, especially during big story points and story crossovers. But Spider-Man, pretty much from its inception, was the icon character. There is a reason why nearly every comic book from Marvel at one point had the Spider-Man logo in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, but it's also a reason why Spider-Man is the golden goose. It's not just because he's a well-written character. It's because he's not just well-written, he's relatable. If that makes sense to anyone listening,
yeah.
He's a character that because Spider-Man goes through good points in his life, bad points in his life, people can relate to it because it's what people go through in their day-to-day lives anyway. Sometimes life's good, sometimes life's bad. It's why he was such a relatable character to people.
And here's the thing that a lot of people won't know unless you worked in the industry at the time or you've had the conversation or come across this randomly. But Marvel comic books, when they were shipped, no matter what it was, the box would be labelled Marvel, but would also have a little image of Spider-Man webbing off the Marvel logo as well. I mean, that's how popular he was. He was the de facto logo for Marvel.
Yeah.
For many years.
And there's a valid reason for it because he's incredibly popular, but it's also because he's iconic.
Yes.
And he's an iconic character. But those were their big 3. Even in comics at that point, they were their big 3. So like, we'll take a chance. We'll make an Iron Man movie. And I will say this: the only reason Iron Man got as popular as he is in those films and worked and I think you'll probably agree with me, is that they got lucky when they cast Robert Downey Jr.
They found an actor that once again, like we were saying with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and Jason Momoa, they found an actor that had a life and has a personality that matches the character in
Yeah.
such a way.
Well, it's the guy.
And
Robert
the
Downey Jr. Went to prison, owned up to it. He had trouble with alcohol and drugs himself in his younger years and got over it, and is recovering alcoholic and everything. So he quite literally, as you say, it's not just that he basically went through the stuff that lets him relate to the character so well because of what he went through in his own life, and
yeah,
in reality, he's not just that he's a
fantastic actor, fantastic character actor. That's why I'm really pumped about him playing Doom. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just going to be Tony Stark under a different name." It's not.
No.
And you can see that in a lot of other works that he's done. And yeah, in Universe, the big thing League, look, some of us know. But the role isn't going to be played the same at all. And
no.
I'm really excited for
this
that.
This is Victor Von Doom. This is not, infamous Iron Man. This is Victor Von Doom. They have said this multiple times. People going, "Oh, we're getting infamous Iron Man." No. This is Victor. He is never taking that mask off.
We will see how it ends up playing.
Well, yeah. The hope is as a Doom fan, is he is never taking that mask off, because the whole point of it is Doom wears that mask because Doom is, as anyone who knows Doom, is vain as shit. Not in a bad way. It's because, he unfortunately.
He's meant to be this untouchable leader for his people, and having that scar amongst many other reasons for doing it, but having that scar shows him as fallible to his people, and he can't show that.
No, he can't.
He's very much like Black Adam and Kandar. He is a villain to everyone else outside of his own state. He will look after his people with.
But it's also, what is it? In technical things, Doom has foreseen the future. The only world in which the Marvel Universe does not go to shit, ironically, is the one where Doom is the one in control of everything. From like his own vision of the future, is quite literally the only world in which the Marvel Universe does not end up with the Sentinels wiping out humanity and the mutants, Apocalypse taking control, or any of the other various apocalypses that happen that are actually futures for the Marvel Universe, is the one unit of timeline that Doom wins and takes control because he creates a utopia. Because he's not actually evil. He's a bit of a tyrant, but it's weird because he's a tyrant, but in the sense of his people are allowed to do what the hell they want and enjoy their lives. It's just, don't.
You just got to follow the rules.
Yeah, he's very harsh on people that break the rules. It's like he's just a bit, but it's because Doom's technical whole thing is he wants to save the world. It's the way he goes about it that is wrong. It's like Magneto. Magneto is right, but the way Magneto's methods are wrong.
Yeah, weirdly enough, in the comic books at the moment, there's quite a funny thing going on within the background. So at the moment, these things only play out in small parts, but the big thing is that after the events of Secret Wars, where he managed to stop, the whole reason he gets the power he does at the end of Secret Wars is because the Beyonders are trying to destroy the current universe to make the next one.
Yeah.
And Doom intercedes in that and makes the Secret Wars universe, and then at the end, thanks to a cheeseburger in someone's pants, the universe gets restructured again then around Reed Richards' memories of the universe. But because of that, there are fractures within the current version of the current quintessence of the universe that we're in now in Marvel. Because we are technically in a different one from before.
Yeah.
And there are remarks of like the ones that do know, is like Doom didn't make this mistake when he created his universe, you know, and actually things aren't really as good as they're made out to be.
No, and Reed Rich,
which is quite funny.
It's quite funny because Doom in the end of it is not is a villain, but not a villain in some senses. He's that. He's a well.
I will say, what is
He's also. I will always remember the comic where Doom and Kang work together, and it always makes me laugh the minute Kang tries to betray Doom.
He's like, no, just no.
He just beats the crap out of him immediately. He's like, this is why you don't betray Doom. It's like,
But there is a funny thing at the moment, though, just as a side note, because of how Reed Richards put the universe back together, it is part of the big overarching story of things that has allowed Storm to turn up at the source wall of the DC universe, which I think is absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
It's what's allowing these weird crossovers to happen.
Oh yeah, but it's because Marvel and DC have decided, why don't we just work together for a bit, because we benefit when we do this. People really love the amalgam comics. They really love these crossovers, like the one you showed me was Spider-Man and Superman. And the minute I saw the Sentinel in that second comic, that was Lois and Mary Jane. Talking about being married to superheroes. It's like the minute I saw the Sentinel, my brain went, Gambit's on the bridge, isn't he? Gambit's on the fucking bridge. Gambit's the one that's being chased. There's only one person that would piss off a Sentinel that much.
That Superman, Spider-Man series, just that book, with everything being crossed over with DC, and basically it's the DC universe mixing over with Spider-Man universe. In all fairness,
yeah,
there are some wonderful bits. I mean, like
it's just the fact.
I know we spoke about this before. The Jimmy Olsen.
Oh, Jimmy Olsen one's funny. I've got
this Jimmy Olsen.
Superman come to me no matter what. Immediately gets murdered.
Yeah, Jimmy Olsen versus Carnage, and he presses the button on the watch, and it was like firmware update. Oh shit!
It just gets killed by Carnage. It's just like, and rest in peace, Jimmy. It's just like, oh god. Mm-hmm. It's so funny because it's like nowhere else could Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen is the most unlucky sidekick ever, though. Like, lucky in love, but when it comes to anything else, he seems to be just unlucky as hell. It's like, Jimmy, stop. Jimmy, you're supposed to have Superman's on your side all the time. I do. The problem is I have a habit of getting myself into bad situations all the time.
Yeah, it's always fun to see.
Oh yeah. It's hilarious because it's like the amalgam universe. I like that universe where you get Darkclaw, Wolverine and Batman combined and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah. What happens if we cross over a DC character with a Marvel character? We get Darkclaw. We get what is it they called, the Superman and Captain America one crossover? I forget the name.
Oh, I can't remember.
But it's like you get those crossovered. And I'm like,
I mean, there was a great Deadpool. There was two great Deadpool and Batman comic crossovers, and the actual Marvel version, where Batman comes over to the Marvel universe, as it were, and Deadpool's fighting. Like, there's one where Batman comes in and is like, "Don't worry, you can't die because whatever storytelling preference," and he's like, "Look, I can prove it." Shoots Batman and kills him. He's like, "Oh, you're the wrong one."
You're the wrong one. I mean, he shoots Batman in the head.
And then the next one comes in, and then they're talking, and then they all of a sudden say, Darkclaw comes in. He's like, "Oh, this is the brooding one."
What I find really funny
is
what I find the thing that makes me laugh the most about that entire run is that comic is just the fact that it's like it would it's a good comic, but it's also, we both know, it would annoy the right people in the Batman fandom, and we both can agree with that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, but there are so many people who go, Batman can beat anyone, and I'm just like, no, he can't. No, he cannot.
Well, the joke, the thing is Batman can beat anyone with prep time, but then what happens if he doesn't get prep time, he can't beat anyone. He's just a dude in a suit.
Yeah, it's like
A great conversation
when people,
came up
I saw
recently. It's like how much prep time.
the old death battle, Batman v Spider-Man. Neither one gets
Yeah.
prep time against each other, and it's like people were moaning, going, Batman wouldn't lose to Spider-Man. I'm like, no, he would lose to Spider-Man. Peter Parker, the literal thing that happened in Peter Parker's Doc Ock's very first freaking comic when he took over Peter's body. Oh shit! I broke the Scorpion's jaw.
Yeah,
literally clean off. Because
he's kind of like he's not the same power level with Superman, but he has the same issue of he holds back.
Well, yeah, it's because
if he fully released himself, he would be destructive.
Yeah, and the reason Peter holds back is because Peter believes in the good of most people, just like Batman technically does. Even Batman goes, deep down he's a good guy, and deep down I'm not. That's literally what Batman says about Suit, because he knows full well that he's not a good person, whereas Clark Kent Superman is a good person. And that's the thing.
Well, I mean, there's like in the great Joker War storyline where Joker War, 3 Jokers, and they're going after these 3 different versions of Joker, and finally, Red Hood gets a Joker, thanks to rights, and just shoots him dead, and Bruce Wayne loses his nut over it. He's like, "You killed him." Went, "Yeah, but you should have done it years ago." Went, "Don't you think I want to kill him every single day? Do you not think I want to hang him from a lamppost and make sure he never comes back? I've got to fight to be the good guy." He went, "And that's what that's why I trained you all, you Robins, to be different. Trained you not to be me."
Yep.
That's why you're a disappointment right now. You're.
And it's sad, but you also at the same time when you think it, you understand Damien's point, Jason's entire point of view at that point of the man killed me. I'm killing. I want revenge. It's like we know why Bruce is angry, because Bruce expects them to all be better, but we also know at the same time that, let's be 100% honest, we know that Jason isn't better, because Jason was killed by the Joker. Jason would never be better than that.
Well, what's great about that actual book is you come towards the end of it, there's a bit where Barbara takes him on to look after him after he gets absolutely wrecked. And he's like, "Look, none of us, it's going to take all of us a long time to get over what you did. What Bruce, some of the things that Bruce has done to us to make us what we are is terrible, don't get me wrong. But what you have done is beyond the pale." And he sits there. Yeah, and he sits there, like she goes that way, and he's walking around her apartment, and he opens up the drawer. It's like the other people, don't you have any hang-ups from some of the things that the Joker's done to you? She's like, "Of course I do. I've had to work through them." And he opens up a cupboard when she's out, and it's still got a wheelchair there. It's still got a collection of the nude pictures that the Joker took of her, sent to her dad, and then it's also got a book. A bunch of books dealing with
trauma. Jax has died apparently mid-call. Oh no, Jax is dead. Long live Jax. Hello, Jax. I think Jax's headset has died. But yeah, Jack. But yeah, we are, in all essence, dealing with everything. We are in the channel's in the middle of some new upgrades and stuff. Jax has just sent me a message a moment, or is sending me a message. I think he's changing his headphones.
No, my internet died. I'm now running off my phone.
Jax, have you tried not letting the internet die?
I have. I think it's because of the bad weather. I can't fight the weather. Yeah, but he goes through a bunch of psychology, all these books on psychology that she's got there about coping with pain and PTSD, and he sits there and reads them. And yeah, that does sort of change the character for a bit going forward, but not majorly. But it is there.
Oh yeah, Yeah, Jason's, but it's like entirely anyone who reads that understands full well why Jason at that point basically would do that because because that is a kid that has basically died, been brought back, and then and is constantly questioning why the hell have you not just gotten rid of him?
Yeah.
Why? Like, because he's not dealt with his trauma. That's the whole reason why he becomes the Red
No.
Blood, because he's not dealt with it. And it's, yeah, we as the audience, like, Jason, why the hell did you do it? But at the same time, it's like, Jason, it's like, you can also understand why Jason does it in that comic. But
I mean, even in the. Sorry, Karen.
But, yeah. Mass Universe, I think both of us agree Skeletor is the best part of that film. The movie itself, absolutely, I loved it. I
loved it.
Every single scene in that film, to me, was like it was ripped straight out of the 90s like the old cartoons, the 80s cartoon, and I'm like, this is just straight up the cartoon turned into a film, and I am here for every fucking second of this because I love it, because it is literally me watching something that I watched when I was a kid, because it was in reruns on TV, and I'm like, this is just so, like, it's not just nostalgia. Yeah, it's nostalgia, I'll be honest, but it is nostalgia plus seeing something that you like, rather than them try and take the film seriously and go, we're going to make a serious He-Man movie, like the Dolph Lundgren film. But let's be honest, tried to take itself seriously and gave He-Man a go. But they went, no, fuck seriousness. We're going to make this cheesy. We're going to make this as cheesy as we can make it.
But here's the thing as well. Something I was starting to worry about was, for a start, when I first saw the images of the actor playing Adam, I was like, oh, that guy is not He-Man at all. They're going to have to CGI a body on him and everything. It's not going to look good. And also, a lot of the scenes I saw was them on Earth. And my big worry was it was going to be very similar to
the original
film, where you get a very little bit of time on Eternia, and then the whole movie is them walking around Earth being dumb to Earth culture. And they really did switch it up with the idea of he was sent there as a child, grew up there for a bit, and then go back. And actually, the Earth stuff is very, very short.
I was in that worry because it starts on Earth. I'm like, oh, is this going to be like is the Eternia bitch going to be like the last half, like the last 20 minutes of the film? No, it's the first 50. No. It's the first 10, 15 minutes of the film that is set on Earth, and the rest of it is on Eternia. And I'm like, yes, you did it the right way around, and you did it properly.
Yeah,
the whole idea.
100%. And I like one of the things I've seen a lot of people whinging about is the whole. How long it takes him to find the sword in the film. It doesn't. It's literally you see him get to Earth, and the whole reason why he hasn't got the sword on him as a small child.
Yep.
And then it shows him grown up with this search for the sword. And once again, within 10 minutes, he's got the sword back in his hand. Yes, he doesn't use it. He doesn't turn, but the search for the sword is done.
Yep.
And then you go straight into Teela being there. You get straight into Beastman being there. You get straight to them being back on Eternia. Yes, he doesn't turn into He-Man for the first 45 minutes. But that's because you're dealing with you're dealing with story stuff.
Yeah, you're dealing with that. I also love how they explained all this ridiculous 80s names for every character.
Wonderful. That's another thing.
Kid would name these people because he doesn't know the names.
Okay, that was something I was talking to one of my friends about and to my wife about. Is that I really did enjoy that, and the bit I also liked was how when he's telling these people, "Oh, I remember you. You're Fisto." It's like, that's not my name. It's like, and you're Ram Man. I'm what?
And what? It's just like, it's silly.
And it's like, because the names are stupid.
Yeah,
like, let's not beat about the bush. They are stupid names that really only made sense for a cartoon at the time because at that time that's what it was. But in something modern, they wouldn't be like that, and they're like, that's not our names. The bit I like is that one. You never actually then get some sort of weird exposition of going,
actually my name's Power Fist or something like that, or Gunther the Strong, or whatever any kind of bullshit they could come up with. They
No,
don't
it's-
add any of that. They
no,
just go like they go that it's just a case of it's not my name, and then by the end of it in the battle where they realise this guy is
yeah.
actually who they need him to be. He is the warrior of Eternia, and it's like, yeah, I'm Fisto. I
Right,
fist people.
It's
And
like, yes, they embrace it, and I love it because
Yeah.
they embrace the stupidity of the names, and I'm like, thank you. And also, I will agree with you fully. Jared Leto, like both of us have, like any film with him in it has been a death sentence. Like, unfortunately, I think the curse still wins because people are like, oh my god, it's Jared Leto, I don't want to watch it. But I'm like, they should be kicking themselves because Jesus fucking Christ, he is actually the best thing in the fucking movie. Because
Yeah.
this is and I'm going to say this now, this is the kind of characters he should be playing. Not Morbius
Yes.
trying to be serious, not serious characters. Give him the opportunity to ham it the fuck up as a character, just be silly, like make jokes and just be absolutely cheesy. Because Jesus Christ, Skeletor every single scene that he was in, I was laughing because Skeletor is basically that 80s cartoon villain, full on. And it's
Well,
so
there
good.
is a fantastic comment by Jeremy Irons.
Which is what? Oh, Jackson's internet died again. Yay!
Yeah, sorry, that was my fault. Jeremy Irons, who played the Skeletor from the original film, he was like he didn't like the character. The only way he was going to get through the filming was to make it as hammy as possible. And to this day, as a kid, when I was a kid, that he was my favourite part of that film because the way he portrayed it.
Yeah.
And Skeletor in the animated series, of all the animated series, is there is that element of, I say, Shakespearean hamminess, the over the topness, and
it's like
getting Jared Leto to do that here was perfect.
The Kevin Smith ones, Revelations and Revolution. Mark Hamill was basically just playing Skeletor, and I'm not even gonna lie, it wasn't his Joker voice, but he was playing him like when he played the Joker, just in a different voice. And I'm like, hamming it up and being incredibly silly, and it's like, this works because this is how Skeletor is meant to be. He is not some complex villain like in most of the things. He is just evil for the sake of I am fucking evil. That's it. I don't give a shit. Sorry.
I mean, that was one of my favourite things within the film as well. Is like where he managed to kind of talk to him, and he's like, there is another way we could have a communication. He's like, oh no. I'm evil. I'm evil because it's fun to be evil.
I'm evil because I want to be. Not because okay, I love you. I love it. He's just like, yep, we're having this up and we're admitting that Skeletor is just a villain that doesn't need redemption, doesn't need any tragic backstory. It's just, I'm evil because I want to be. Screw you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love it. And I'm like, yes. Because it's like, this is when you understood. He-Man is a Saturday morning cartoon villain. He doesn't have ulterior motives. He just is a dick.
He's a bad guy. Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes that is great. I get it, like having a bit of pathos in certain villains, and it has worked, for the Marvel stuff.
It works for villains. Comic book heroes villains because you see them over and over again, and you get the stories developed around them. But for Saturday morning cartoon villains, they were there for the story. You never got character development for Skeletor. You only got Skeletor shows up, does some evil shit, and then gets beat back by the main characters. Whereas,
I mean, nearly all the character development for Skeletor, in all fairness, over the last 40 years, came from the Kevin Smith animation.
And even that, you still had the whole thing of, no, I'm evil because I want to be. Just straight up, I don't need to change. You need to change.
You don't need a reason for him. Like, he doesn't need to be the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor where there is a reason for them going the way that they did. Or with, even with Magneto, giving him a terrible past to give him an authoritarian future. It's a case of, no. I just want to take over. I want to be the guy. And you know what? I am the guy.
I want to be the guy, and you know what? I'm just a bad guy, and I'm
Yeah.
happy with this. I don't give a shit about being a hero or tragic backstory. No, mother didn't. No, it wasn't my mother didn't love me or any of this. It's just I'm just evil.
And also, I
It's
love the
fine.
use of the Staff of Chaos.
Let's have havoc.
Because that could easily have, Havoc staff. It could have easily have just been used as a weapon to fight the sword, as a bow staff, but it wasn't. It was used as a proper magical device that was overpowered,
Yeah.
and just did its stuff.
It was also. It's like it is a film that it went and encapsulated exactly what made that cartoon so good. How over the top the cartoon was. That's how that film was, over the top. Cheesiness, like cringy in areas where it was meant to be cringy. Like that film was full on. We understand that the source material for this is not a, something that you want to take seriously. It's not something you want to go. We're going to be dark and edgy. It's something we're just going to just have fun. Like this has got to be a ridiculous, stupid fantasy movie, and I'm like, this is how He-Man should be. Because why would you want a serious serious film out of a He-Man movie? Because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but it's literally a superhero that is a hero that is a character that is this tiny weedy dude that picks up a sword and goes, "By the power of Grayskull, I have the power," and becomes giant buff himbo. It's like
Pretty much. And also, something else that one of the things I did like about the change in it all was when it comes down to him talking to the Enchantress, who
played by the
I
wonderful,
can never
wonderful
Marina.
Yeah,
I can never pronounce her last name, but she played it perfectly. I mean, I didn't. I honestly didn't realize she was going to be in it, and the fact that she was the Empress was on point.
well, oh yeah, I thought she was the
But-
sorcerer at some point. It's
and yes, I know it's the same things in the, and I know people have made this comparison. Oh, they've just copied the scene where Thor gets the conversation with Odin. It's like, you're not the god of hammers, you are the god of thunder. No, you are the power, not the hammer. The hammer's not the power.
like that. That's
Um,
like that scene to me in Thor was basically just copied from an old Saturday morning cartoon.
But even then, like having that scene in it, I thought was great.
Also,
I thought that was a great twist to the universe.
The Skeletor messing with him in his mind bit was so good.
Oh, so good. I was like, especially like, I hate Daryl as well.
Right?
Yeah.
I never
yeah.
knew that I wanted Skeletor in a fucking suit and tie until that film. Like, I actually like it. This is fucking hilarious. It's like, this is how you knew that they were like, yeah, we take this material serious. We understand how stupid this is. We're gonna have the Saturday morning cartoon villain be stupid. And it's like,
And even then, it was a really good part of the scene. And the actress who was in who played his boss as well, who was in, sorry, she's in tons of stuff, but she was in Agatha All Along.
I know.
I
recognize her immediately.
Perfect.
I'm like,
absolutely perfect.
Oh no. It's just like, also the way that she's speaking is so good as well, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. What was her name?
I forget the actress name, but
she is. No, that is someone else.
it's not.
It doesn't matter.
I know who you mean, because I immediately when I saw her, I recognized. But I love the way that she was speaking. Is like proper jokey. It was proper than making fun of how HR reps have to speak to people about everything.
It was a mix. It was a mix between that and a mix between sort of this Gen Z culture of not wanting any kind of conflict in a job where there needs to sometimes be conflict.
It was also straight up her just trying. It also sounded like that older manager trying to sound youthful and hip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I actually am all for this because this is just ridiculously silly. Also, I hate Daryl.
Everyone hates Daryl.
I love
Um,
that. That bit was just brilliant. I really hate Daryl. It's just like I love how they embrace that film. Genuinely was one of those things that made me go, this film is just gonna was a film was like I was like I am just so happy that we got a He-Man movie that was actually felt like watching a He-Man. And without
yeah,
we're not going to spoil the end credit scenes, but all three of them are just brilliant. Are brilliant. We'll spoil. I'm only going to spoil one, and I think that this is the one that it's not a story spoiler, if you know what I mean. You know which one I'm on about.
yeah,
It's the first one. The fact they did the thing that happens at the end of the cartoon.
yeah. Ortho's final because he's a character that does get missed out a lot. Um,
Oh yeah.
he wasn't in the original movie. He didn't really appear that much in the Kevin Smith animation till a bit later on. And I honestly didn't think we were going to get him in any capacity
Nope. And then
because it is.
he shows up, giving us the message of the movie going. And I love how on the nose the message was because they were like, "Yeah, this is what He-Man does. He-Man tells you a message at the end of everything, and if we do any more films, we're going to keep doing this because that's the joke. The film will
Yeah.
tell you the message it's trying to tell you at the end of the film, like every He-Man episode of like the show ever did."
Yeah. And the other thing within the film as well that I really liked, and it's something that once again Kevin Smith touched on in his animated series, is which he said they couldn't really do in the original animated stuff, was once everything had gone wrong and bad, and they got to the point where they had to be. Man at War is a broken guy.
Yeah.
Like in Kevin Smith one, he ends up like, I'm no longer the man of war, but you are the woman of war. You have and he gives the mental over to his daughter. And in this, you just see a broken guy bringing himself back up to a place where he can feel himself again. Very Idris Elba, it's awesome. You just can't complain about his body of work.
Just a moment.
But I will say, like, going back to the Skeletor thing, this is, I'm not the biggest fan of Jared Leto. I loved him I thought he was great in Lords of War, with Nicolas Cage, but that's because he's playing things in a very different way. And as much as, and I liked him in Switchback as well, which is a film that people forget that he was in. I actually, because I'm a big fan of the Tron franchise, and I actually quite like. There's a lot of reasons to not like Tron Ares. Don't get me wrong, but he wasn't the worst part of that film. So I mean, at least the last two films he's done has been pretty okay. He's done pretty okay. But it's nice not to just have him be a complete nutcase. But yeah, okay, the adult jokes within the film as well. There were so many that were set on the side.
It is legitimately, though, not just the adult jokes. It's the fact that the adult jokes were straight up in the right. But He-Man, the show, has become somewhat of. Let's be honest. You probably might disagree with me on that, but has become somewhat of a gay icon. Like you're gonna.
Oh yes. I'm sure he was back in the day.
A lesbian icon. Like the fact the jokes were very much on the brand of what it, what it needs to be.
I mean, when Fisto and Ram-Man are fighting, and like it's when especially Fisto himself just takes on that mantle that He-Man is giving him, and it's like, I'm going to fist that guy, and then he just turns around to Ram-Man, give him some head, and he's like, no. And then the whole thing with the Battle Cat as well. She's like, how is he going to help? He's a pussy. He's not a pussy cat. He's a battle cat.
Oh yeah.
I, was- I was lucky. The cinema I saw it very early in the day, and it was just me and two other people in the cinema, all of us adults, and we were roaring with laughter.
Oh
And
yeah.
you
I
know,
will say there
that's the
was
sign of
because I was seeing the back room when I saw the back rooms. For example, I'm sorry, I'm pivoting onto the back rooms a second.
yeah,
Seeing
that's
the
fine.
back rooms, I was seeing the back rooms like on the last because it's not in the cinema now in my local cinemas anymore. Yesterday was the last day to watch it. That's why I watched it on Monday evening. I was like, I need to go watch this film.
Yeah,
It was only like the dregs because it's been out for 3 weeks already. You know what I mean?
yep.
Um, excuse me, pardon me. But what I will say with the He-Man movie, it's when we went on the Sunday and we went about midday, just after 2 o'clock on Sunday. The cinema in there was quite very packed, whereas for the back rooms, because it was last week, it was only like I think me, two people sat like a bit next to me on like further along the row, and then a couple of people sat in the front and a couple of people at the back. That was it. I have no idea if there was
Oh,
anything like after the credits and that because I kind of just walked out after finishing the film. I just walked out because I wasn't waiting around for credit stuff for that film.
yeah, yeah. Well, what is interesting, at least with my local cinemas and my local, like the one just down the road from me, um, is that Mandalorian and Grogu. When I saw it, it had already been produced now to the smaller screen, so there weren't that many seats, and it was packed.
Yeah.
I will say one of the most annoying things to me that happened at these cinemas is that a bunch of parents came in with their kids, dumped all their kids on their seats, and then left to go to the pub. And this is a 12A film. There is a lot of stuff in it, and a couple of kids got scared
Oh
and
yeah.
then decided at that point they were going to talk amongst themselves. So I was like, I got annoyed with that. But
I wouldn't blame
you
you
know,
being annoyed with that because
it got
12A. Why would even the He-Man film? Like I would happily take my son to watch that film because
but you wouldn't leave them there on their own to do it,
no,
you know?
well definitely not. He's 3. He's only 4 years old. Why the hell would I leave
Yeah,
a
fair
4-year-old
enough.
sat in the cinema on his own? I wouldn't even
But
leave him
like,
if he was like unless he was a teenager. I wouldn't leave him to watch a film on his own, like because
yeah, no, these were all like 8, 9 years old. It was
I would
like
definitely
two
wouldn't
different
because
groups
I'm
of
sorry,
parents
but you
did it.
don't know who sat in that cinema. Like no
One
offense.
hundred percent.
I mean,
And one of the things that did happen to me was like, so behind me in the VR, all the VIP seats were already taken, and it was all one big group of adults
yeah,
that had taken the VIP seats. And what happened was is that I was then sitting in the row in front, and there was like a family next to me on my left hand side taking up those seats, and then to the right of me it was 10 kids that had literally the parent had sat one down next to me, then put all the kids, and then left the two empty seats at the end, which were meant to be their seats, and buggered off. And then when the kids started talking and doing things, someone from behind me went, "Can you shut your kids up?" And I literally turned back to him and was like, "These ain't my kids. I don't know who they are. I don't know who they belong to. So if you want, you can give them all the sleep." And then that was it. At that point, then those guys were like, "Kids, shut the fuck up. Like, you don't seriously." But at the end of the day, all it took was what it would have taken was one of them to be a drunken idiot and actually be abusive to them.
yeah.
And who's there to say anything? I mean, because it would have only have been me, and I've got nothing to do with them, you know. But anyway, but by that point in the cinema run, which I'll get to my actual point, is that they'd already moved Mando and Grogu down to the small screen because there were so many people still going to see Backrooms that they needed the bigger screening room for that. And my local cinema has now not got Mandalorian and Grogu on it at all because they're using the small screens for the random Hindi film or animation film that's on every other week.
Because to be fair,
Backrooms is
apparently
still
it's
on.
not been doing very well for the Grogu film. It's done decent, but not. It's no longer. I think it's because we're no longer in the era where Star Wars sells out all the time anymore. Unfortunately.
Yes, there is that. There is also an element of because of its age rating, kids can't just go. Like I say, kids now can't literally just walk in and go and watch it. It's not a PG.
No.
So you can't just. It's not going to be a case. So you do need parents are meant to be taking their kids to go and see it. And because of that, a lot of parents are just going to say, "Do you know what? Wait for it to go on Disney Plus. I ain't taking it to go sit for nearly 3 hours in a cinema to watch something that I know nothing about." Um,
Even
but
though,
then the
despite
other
the fact
bit
that The
is
Mandalorian wasn't aimed at kids, it was more aimed at older Star Wars audiences. That's
exactly the
that's
other
my
thing that got
thing
me
on it.
about it is that from watching it, and don't get me wrong, I did really like it. I did enjoy it. Um, but the one thing I did get from it is it's not made as a film. It is made as a 3-part TV series that is welded together. And because of that, there isn't really I wasn't desperate to go and see it again in the cinema,
Yeah.
which even with the last 3 Star Wars films, which I weren't a major fan of, I did want that cinema experience when I went to go and see them again. And I mean, even the last Star Wars film, I once again not a major fan of it. I did go and see it twice because I wanted the cinema experience of seeing it. In this, I was like, this is a TV show, and not because it was previously a TV show, it's because that's exactly what this film felt like. There's 3 major cuts in it in which you could see that would be the end of that episode, then it's the beginning of the next episode, then the end of the next episode. So that was a big problem for it,
Oh, yeah.
in my opinion. The other thing that I did notice that kind of annoyed me slightly is how disconnected it actually is from the series. There was a lot of fan service there for no reason or without explanation. Zeb being Mando's pilot in a completely different ship at the beginning. Now, maybe I'm misremembering something, but Zeb didn't cross paths with the Mandalorian,
No,
even in the live-action TV shows.
no, he just shows up in
he
like
reap-
a cameo scene in the canteen talking to, I can't remember
yeah,
the guy that plays the pilot.
yeah, and then he then comes back as he comes back in Ahsoka, doesn't? I'm sure he's in Ahsoka as live action as well.
In the finale when Ezra returns, you see Zeb as well.
Yeah. So I couldn't work out how I would have preferred to have a reason and a bit of exposition there as to how they know each other. But also, I was kind of excited to see him back in his Naboo starfighter. And then almost instantly, I know this is for story reasons because, there's a part in it where they need the bigger ship. And they go back to the new version of the Razor Crest. And it's like, now, I don't get it. I did like the introduce, all the animation stuff that they brought into this film. I loved. These are great callbacks because I love the animation things.
Oh, yeah.
The Hutt twins, Jabba's son, all of these sort of things that are from the animated show, I loved. Do not get me wrong. But once again, this really should have been an extra season on Disney Plus, not a film.
Oh yeah, I can agree. It's like what a lot of people pointed out with what you call it, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
that felt like a film for a lot of people that had been cut up into episodes.
Cut up, yes, 100%. Exactly the same issue, but just on the other side of the coin. And that was elongated out way too long for what it should have been, and Mandalorian was cut way too short for what it should have been, because that should have been a 6-episode series, not a 3-hour film. And yeah, Falcon and the Winter Soldier should have been a 3-hour long film, not 6 hours worth of TV. But yeah, it is just the way that things are going over there, and they're trying to learn. At the moment, I think they're just trying to learn how to deal with these massive franchises, which technically are not thing that you have to keep doing stuff with, which is not something Disney's really used to. They're used to going, right, things like The Incredibles was great. We've now got 8 years to do a sequel.
Yeah. Whereas they technically own Star Wars, and they own the two that made Star Wars. They don't have as much of a time constraint on doing stuff with it. They can, take a bit of time to get stuff to do stuff. If that makes
They
sense.
can.
But they start to do stuff
With
every so often.
franchises
They
like
have a
that.
bit more time to do stuff, and it's a bit. But as I say, we're going to do this really short one. We are going to end. I'm going to end it about the podcast about now today. So, as I say, we'll be back with what we are going to do is Supergirl isn't next week; it's the week after, isn't it, Jax? And the week after is the week you come.
25th.
Yeah. So what we are going to do is we are going to be back next week with the podcast. We're going to do one this week, one next week. Next week we're going to do the one that we've been the Daredevil and Punisher one. We're going to go over the whole series of Daredevil, not scene by scene, but we're going to go over the episodes because I want to rewatch it anyway. I'm going to rewatch it anyway. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
We're going to go back over it and we're going to go through the plot points, and we're going to talk about how it relates to, from our point of view, how it relates to certain comics, because it is very clear to both of us that it's certain comics, and very clear that there are certain things that we wanted to talk about originally that we didn't want to talk about when we last spoke about it, because it just finished airing when we did our last episode. We didn't want to spoil. It's been a few weeks. That's been out for a few weeks, and Punisher's been out for a few weeks. We will be spoiling a lot of things, like a lot of bits where plot points that we think are going to go forward, and a lot of stuff like that. Because in reality of the matter is, I mean, we both know that someone in that show is about to become Muse 2, and it's very obvious. We know that that storyline 3 is going to be the second Muse, most likely. I think they deliberately had, the first Muse be a short villain for the first season to set up the second Muse being worse because of what happens at the end of the series, because there's no one to stop it this time.
Yeah, and I'm just hoping that they, as much as I love Vincent D'Onofrio, I really hope, and I love his portrayal of the Kingpin, I hope he's not the focus for the third season. We need something new.
I think the third season, that's why I think they've done what they did at the end, the whole, my spoilers, but, him renouncing his, New York citizenship and everything and leaving New York, in order for him and Matt to basically stop fighting, and that is they were doing it in a way that lets them bring another Daredevil villain as the main villain of the third season, and I do think it's going to be this season will be focused around Muse 2, and it'll be a full blown that villain being like the main, big bad, because we know who's going to become it. It's going to be hell for Matt.
And they've got a reason to then pretty much closely follow the comic book. One of my favourite comic books with Daredevil is actually the whole original Muse storyline, which they sort of touched on, but they really didn't go into how badly that character scars Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
And
I think
they have the ability to do that.
Because it's a live action, whereas in the comic you can kind of have that bit easier because it's this character that's been introduced. In a live action, because we're kind of connected to these characters, I think having what's going to be basically a personal connection between Muse 2 and Matt allows them to do that scarring bit, the bit where it scars Matt, the Matt's psyche because of Muse from the the comic. It allows them to really do it in a way that not more believable, but it'll feel more personal, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And more.
Yes, 100%. I know exactly what you say.
It'll feel more personal and more involved, and it'll feel more impactful. And I think it's a perfect way of doing it, because it's gonna be brilliant. I'm excited for season 3. We know we're getting a season 3. We know that we know it's greenlit for 3 seasons at the very minimum. I'm excited for Brand New Day next month. I'm excited for for Supergirl later this month. We will talk about that after it comes out. I will probably see it the week after you, because you'll see it on the 25th. I will probably see it on the either the 29th or the 1st of July, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll talk about that, because I will see it before the podcast after that episode, because I will want to talk about it, because I don't even like DC that much, and this has gotten me wanting to watch a DC films. So that's the thing. James Gunn has done something which I didn't think possible. Made me want to watch DC movies. I don't like pretty much most DC characters.
No.
Like, and I'm
I
open, and I
get
think on this
exactly what you
podcast
said.
I have said that openly multiple times. You know what I mean?
But we're definitely in the next year. We have got some very, very interesting projects coming out from both Marvel and DC
Yeah.
that is going to be incredibly
I
fun.
just remembered what comes out on the 1st of July, which I'm definitely going to be watching, but and I'm hoping it's
What's that?
X-Men 97
Oh
season
yeah,
2. The first 2 episodes are on that day. Well, the first episode. So actually, we might want to talk about Supergirl, but I have a feeling that most of that episode, like when this podcast initially started, Jax, is going to be dominated by that show. Because
yes,
we know full well that every 2 weeks those episodes coming out. Yeah, we'll talk about the Spider-Man film when we watch it, but unfortunately 97 will take precedence for I think both of us, because it is a show that we both grew up kind of watching, and it's an ingrained childhood show.
yeah.
So
I'm very much agreement of that. But then also within the next, like I say, so just as an update of things that are coming out within the next couple of months. So yeah, we've got Supergirl, we've got Spider-Man, we've got Clayface coming from DC, which is something I'm very much interested in. Following that,
let's
we've got
not just forget that we've got so following that, gaming wise, we have so many things that got announced recently as well. Like, so many stuff got announced.
Yeah.
We've got the Wolverine game coming out in September this year. We've got, apparently GTA 6 comes out in November. I don't really care. But
I will not believe that is coming out until it comes out.
Oh yeah. But we've got that. We've got Code Veronica getting a remaster, a remake, and that makes me so happy. We've got Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee remastered coming out this year. Okay.
Yep.
And there is nothing that is gonna this year that has made me happier than that being announced, by the way. Because I am a massive Godzilla fan. You're a massive Godzilla fan.
Yep.
But the fact that is coming out this year on, that's coming out this year in freaking November, like around the time GTA 6 is supposed to come out. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care about GTA 6 anymore. All I care about now is, Godzilla. I get to play as Ghidorah again, and I get to beat up Godzilla with Ghidorah, or beat up Ghidorah with Godzilla. I don't care about the rest of that. And Dawn of War 4 releases in September this year, 10 days before my birthday, so that's a nice early birthday present for me this year as well. But yeah, in all honesty, oh yeah, and we also got Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced being released next month. But yeah, that's some of the few gaming news we've got. There's lots more. Spyro got announced. A new Spyro game got announced. A new Rayman game got announced. But yeah,
yep.
There's a lot of stuff coming. So I'm going to say bid you adieu. I'm going to say au revoir. We'll be back next week with another podcast. I'll be back on Sunday with another live stream.